athlete has been invited to be a part of the national team development program. That is such an amazing accomplishment, and we like to congratulate each one of you guys on behalf of USA Volleyball. There are thousands of athletes who would like to be in your spot right now. Some of you guys have been to 2-3 programs now this year, and if we keep inviting you, that's amazing. If you're invited to your first one, that's an incredible achievement, and so congratulations. Our mission as the National Team Development Program is to identify, recruit, and accelerate the development of high potential youth volleyball players. So if we're going to see you now for the third time in the last 6 months, that means we're working with you, and we really want to continue to accelerate your athletes' development. So that's one of our main goals with the National Team Development Program. For this program, for the winter training series, for all of our programs, we want to make sure that the athletes are having a holistic training experience. And so Nicole later on is going to talk about the academy and how we incorporate that into the NTDP and how we can continue to make sure that that experience is outside of just volleyball. It's about life, and it's about the athlete and how they continue to develop outside of just their volleyball skills. And our coaches, we have an amazing coaching staff. We don't have a lot of our coaches on the call today. As you guys can imagine, it's a very busy time of the year for all of us, but we'll have them here soon. And so exciting that they get to be a part of this program. As you guys can imagine, it's hard to get some of the top coaches in the US to come to this program, but every time we ask them, they mostly say yes, because they love to work with your athletes. So that's very, very exciting. And next, we're gonna look over the winter training series, the big rocks. What do we wanna get out of this program? So Cody, if we can go forward. So every program that your athlete goes to, we're gonna have 1, 2, or 3 big rocks. And those are the things that we're gonna focus on. We can't just learn everything in the 6 sessions that we're gonna have your athletes on. So for every time we see them, we want to continue to progress on the things we've learned in the past, and we want to work on new things and new skills and new developments. So for this one, we're going to work on the understanding of siding out and playing defense. So those 2 things. And then the how and the why. Why do we do what we do as we're siding out? And how do we side out? Why do we side out? And then same thing for playing defense. So the ways that we play defense, different ways of playing defense, looking all the way from, you know, junior athletes to the senior athletes, and making that connection into the national team athletes, which is what we're going to be looking into next. Cody. Okay, excellent. So that's what I was talking about just now, is our department and the national teams and the education services department, all 3 of us, we really work together to make this a holistic experience and a holistic department for the athletes. Okay, that's why we have Nicole Segura coming in as the person in charge of the academy, and that's why we have Todd here to talk to you guys about Apollo, and then how coaching education is going to continue to help us to get to the path of where we want to go. And then our national teams, I don't think Sean Scott is on the call today, but he typically does make
Sean Scott.
Did someone ask a question? Sorry. Okay, I don't think so. I think maybe somebody was just unmuted. But Sean will tell you how we are working from the National Team Development Program to prepare athletes to go into the next level into our national teams. So that is our holistic approach between the national teams, the education services, and the National Team Development Program. Next. This is just a very cool slide, and I know that the names are written very small, but we'll be happy to share this presentation with you guys later on. And this just shows you some Olympic, Paralympic, national team athletes and staff who have made a huge impact on the National Team Development Program. So I think those numbers are outstanding, given that our department we started our programs in July of this year, and now we're in December. So in half a year, we've had the contribution of over 150 amazing Olympians, Paralympians, national team athletes and staff. Recently, we just got back from the U19 in Thailand, where we won a gold medal with Jose Loyola as their head coach, who is a national team athlete and is also an Olympian. So we want to continue to bring those people back, and we want to continue to provide the best services that we possibly can for your athletes. And if you are the athletes on the call for yourselves, we can go on, Cody. And I think I'm passing this back to you.
Sounds good. Thanks, Gabby. If you guys have any further questions on any of that stuff, feel free to reach out to Gabby or I, or even talk to us at the Winter Training Series once we get there on December 27th through the 30th. So again, program dates and location. So training will go from December 27th with one training session there, followed by 2 training sessions on the 28th and 29th, and then 1 training session on the 30th. So we'll go 4 days with 6 total sessions, and we'll be just south of the Manhattan Beach Pier. So parking will be available on site. You just got to get there early, as it usually does fill up from what we're told. This is a commuter program, so we aren't a residential. So we are depending on chaperones, guardians, parents to get their athletes there to and from the training on the beach. And then we also have a few hybrid athletes mixed in this year for this training series. So we did something special for those.
I know.
And with those, they will have 3 sessions of indoor as well as 3 sessions on the beach. So we're excited to have them join us for this winter training. And then I will go further and talk about the program schedule. So girls will begin check-in at 12 on the 27th, followed by training beginning at 1. So we're asking the athletes check in at least an hour prior to their first training session. With the boys starting at 2, we're going to ask that you guys check in at least at the start of 1 p.m. The check-in will go up until 15 minutes, 20 minutes prior to that training session, where we will then have a team meeting with all of the coaches before that first training session. Followed by that, each group will train twice a day, weather pending. Hopefully it looks like it's supposed to be great weather. It's just supposed to be chilly, so make sure you guys pack your warm clothes. But you guys will fill out COVID screening before you come to the beach for that first training session. Each athlete should have received a test screening tonight. If you guys did not receive that, please email me. I will drop my email in chat once we get closer to the end, and then we will make sure that that gets resolved. If there are still issues happening, we'll make sure that we'll get it resolved at the beach. And then as far as that goes, for COVID, we ask that, that you guys just be cautious about everything. When you guys are out of training, be careful, because you guys are going to be around a bunch of different athletes that are traveling from other places. So just be cautious, be smart when you guys go out to lunch or go out to dinner afterwards. And then we recommend that athletes get tested, take a rapid test before they arrive, before they travel to Manhattan Beach for the 27th. Again, that's just us recommending, following CDC guidelines and everything around that nature. And then if athletes or yourselves, family members are comfortable, feel more comfortable wearing a mask while playing and training, again, we totally are okay with that. And you guys feel you need to do what you need to do to feel safe. With that, all of these program logistics are uploaded into Box. So if you scan the QR code, it'll take you to a Box link that has the program manual, and that includes what to bring, what's included in the program, the training schedule, and much more, as well as the Ntdp Academy instructions, which Nicole will touch on in a few. Here is our athlete identification. So this basically describes the 4 zones and then our scouting network that we have throughout the US. So if you guys want more information on the scouting network and how you were recommended and how you were invited, then this is a great tool to read over and also read about in terms of where you lie in the zone. So next, I will kick it off to Nicole, and she will go over the Ntdp Academy.
Thanks, Cody. So for the Ntdp Academy, you should all have access. You should have had access for a little bit now. So if you're struggling or running into any challenges, in just a minute, I'll put my contact information down so that you can reach out to me directly. Feel free to continue to reach out to Gabby and Cody as well. They'll just connect me in. So whatever's easier for you, typically if you just reach out to me right away, I can help you out. So with the Academy, our primary goal is to create a curated resource. And what that means is that we're working with our national team coaches and support staff to come up with a library that supports the 5 pillars of our developmental philosophy, which is craft, body, mind, heart, and team, that can help you when you get back home after training and before you come to training at all, to just be more prepared and to get more out of that development experience. So you'll get feedback after training. Say there's certain specific details that a coach recommended you work on, or you have goals yourself that you are looking for more resources to continue to grow. And so what we wanted is to create a place where you can go and trust what you're reading, not have to put a ton of energy into Google or YouTube or anything like that. And you can just find some experts speaking on what they're the best at. And so we do have some assignments I know that have been sent out to you in advance. If you missed that or have questions about it, you can reach out to either Gabby or Cody, of course, myself. Just to get more clarity on what they'd like you to review as they've met with the coaches before getting on site. And then again, you can continue to learn and grow. And you've probably seen on our social media accounts some athlete learner spotlights, just really celebrating those athletes who've gone above and beyond and taken a ton of coursework and earned a bunch of points and badges. And if that's a goal that you have, keep striving and be on the lookout for more courses and potentially live sessions in the new year. So this is something you'll continue to have access to beyond just this program. So I hope that kind of gave a brief overview of what we're trying to do with the Academy. Again, I will go ahead and drop my email. I'll go ahead and drop my email address in the chat so you can reach out to me directly with any questions you might have. All right, I think we're kicking it over. All of your coaches, actually, yes, let me make sure I say this part. So with the Winter Training Series registration, you are asked to provide your primary coach contact information. And what we've done with that is we have reached out to those coaches and given them access as well for free to the same academy that you have access to. And so what we're trying to do there is just really support who you have working with you back at home. We're trying to be an open book and hold back no information. And so we know that most of your training, if not almost all of your training, is done back in your home gyms or your home court, your home beach. And so because of that, we want to make sure that the people you're working with regularly have the same tools or can at least review the same materials if they'd like. So they've all been given access to that. A few have taken advantage of it. And so if they have any questions or you're switching or anything like that, and you need to clarify kind of who your coach is, you can reach out to me directly with that as well to make sure that the people that are on your team back home have the tools that they need to support you. So I will again drop that in, and then Cody, off to you for Huddle.
Awesome. Thanks, Nicole. So yeah, I will go ahead and talk about Huddle. So each athlete will receive a Huddle invite to their respective teams, whether it's girls U20, U19, U17, and boys respectively as well. That'll happen over the course of this next week leading up until the 27th. If by the 27th an athlete does not receive an invite to join that team, just find me at the beach and we will get it all sorted out, or you can even email me and we will get it sorted out that way. It's an easy fix, so there's no reason to panic for anything. But each training session will be filmed and uploaded into Huddle at some point throughout the week, hopefully as soon as possible each day. And then eventually those will be tagged by the Huddle group, and each athlete will have access to go back and review their film, as well as the coaches to help the athletes train for the next day, and then so on and so forth throughout the next course of the season. And then I will go ahead and kick it off to Todd for Apollo.
Thanks, Cody. Just a quick overview of Apollo. For those of you that have been part of the programs before, you know it's where we store your athlete self-assessments and also where the coaches provide their feedback. For those that are new to the program, there will be some detailed instructions uploaded into the athletes folder inbox as well, where you can access those resources which show you how to access the feedback post-program and so forth. We have hit reset on the athlete feedback cycle, as we've referred to it this year. It was going to be from summer to summer. It is now from winter to winter, so it follows the calendar year. The reason for this is that the last 6 months in learning a new program such as the NTDP and learning a new system such as Apollo, ourselves and the coaches, and no doubt yourselves as athletes and families, have also learned a lot about the system. So in order to capture those learnings and start afresh for the calendar year, we're doing so with this program. And thank you to those of you that have provided new athlete self-assessments to Cody. If you haven't done so as yet, or you're not too sure what I'm talking about, please get hold of Cody or get hold of myself. My details are in the chat there. And we'll make sure that you get the template to provide your self-assessment so that the coaches can have a read of that prior to the program. The reason we do that is that the more they get to know about you beforehand, the easier it is for them to form a relationship with you on site at the program, as opposed to starting from scratch. So the coaches have found it a really useful tool in programs historically, and one that we look to continue on an annual basis. The program feedback, as indicated, we know we've been a little bit hit and miss in parts there across the entire program so far. So we're making a much more conscious effort to make sure there's comprehensive feedback for everyone with the programs, and we'll be catching up with the coaches on site on the 28th. Which would be fantastic, and to talk through the feedback details with them as well. So it's something that we'll keep a close eye on, and make sure that the feedback that we provide you is not just commentary on your performances during the camp, but it also helps you continue to develop and evolve as an athlete and as a person beyond the boundaries of the program. And back at home, as Nicole was saying, with the academy, to continually develop back in your home environment. So that's a real key part of what the NTDP is merging into. Finally, as Cody touched on before as well, if you didn't receive a test COVID SMS this afternoon, or COVID screening, I should say, SMS this afternoon, please reach out to Cody or myself. We need to make sure that we've got the appropriate cell number for you that you'll have access to on site at Manhattan Beach, so that we can get those daily COVID screenings to you. So if you can please be thorough with that and make sure we've got the appropriate details in the system, that'll be a huge help. Thanks, Cody.
Yeah, thanks, Todd. Again, if you guys have any further questions regarding those, all of us have dropped our emails in the chat. So if you guys need to email us about any certain subject, feel free to reach out. And last but not least, before we go to questions, feel free to follow us on social. We're trying to get a little more engaged with our athletes as well as our coaches on social, as it's probably one of the best ways to reach our athletes and all of them. So feel free to follow us, tag us, use the hashtag USAV Ntdp, and you guys could also be featured in our stories or even on posts. So, and I will follow it up with any questions or comments, and I will stop sharing.
Cody, can you go back to that picture so I can tell you guys a funny story?
Yes.
So as they were taking pictures, everybody was wearing masks and gloves, and the parents were yelling and saying, can you please let them take one picture without masks? But then they didn't let them take a picture without gloves. So their glove pictures are going global. We did get some later on, but it was really funny because, and then the boys were jealous because the boys were all masked up and with gloves because the girls went second. But that was really funny moment. They are like, my hands were so sweaty. It was like 100 degrees in Thailand, but you guys will see lots of glove pictures.
And then we will take any questions or comments. If there are none, well, then we're good to go. And we will see you guys on next Monday, the 27th.
Okay, it doesn't look like we have any other questions. If you do have any questions, you can stay on and we'll stay on to chat with you.